September 10th, a day that was supposed to be about conversation and ideas, turned into a public assassination on the campus of Utah Valley University. Charlie Kirk was gunned down in front of thousands of people who were there to see him during his college campus tour. But these four, who did not know each other before that day, agreed to come back to the campus and sit down with me and talk about what they saw, how they have been coping, and what that incident taught them about America today.
People were running everywhere, shouting.
Four strangers forever linked by a single moment they can't unsee at Charlie Kirk's Prove Me Wrong tour. Jason Behunin, Christian Overton, Kurt Liechty, and 15-year-old Carter Lloyd all stood somewhere in the crowd on September 10th. Jason is in the red hat in this picture, just off to Charlie's right.
When I was coming into UVU, I hadn't been following Charlie Kirk very much at all, except for the last few months. I didn't really know much about Turning Point or anything like that. I was like, oh, he still has tickets. I checked online and went to UVU, got the ticket, or went to Turning Point, got the tickets to come in, and came in about 45 minutes early and worked my way all the way down into the front row.
A rally-like energy surrounding a speaker others had followed for years.
I was just to Charlie's right, maybe 30, 40 feet up, and the excitement was there. It was palpable, the energy. We were cheering and fist bumping. The charisma and the charm and the wisdom out of this guy is just incredible.
Christian, where were you in relation to the stage, to the tent, and what do you remember about it?
We noticed that there was a little place where you could stand off from the stage, and so I said, well, why don't you stay here? I'll run down and talk to the security that were coming in at that time to see if we could stand there. And we got down there and I talked to him and then waved him to come down. So that's where we were at, and we waited about a half hour, really excited. We kept looking at each other going, are you kidding me? We're right here off the stage, this is amazing. And about a half hour after is when Charlie arrived. He started throwing out hats, and then he had given one to my son, personally handed it to my son. And I remember him taking off his hat and putting the 47 hat on his head. And man, we were just excited.
Carter, you're the youngest one here. Tell me how old you are.
I'm 15.
You're 15. Why did you decide to go out there that day?
My mom and sister, they love politics a lot, and like our family is just like very into politics. And I remember my mom telling us in St. George that he was coming to UVU, so we thought, we all agree with Charlie, so we're like, why not go and see him?
Tell me again where in relation you were to the stage and what you remember when everything started to happen.
I remember, it's crazy when you experience something like so crazy, your mind remembers like simple things that aren't very simple to you anymore. Like I remember turning around to see my mom smiling while recording. I remember like seeing a book on the ground, just like Charlie's book. People chanting USA.
Then, in a single second, at 2:23 p.m., the sound that changed everything.
When the pop went off, it was almost impossible to process that what's happening. There's no way this is happening here. And we took a knee. I was there with my son, took a knee immediately. Our first thought was, this is a mass shooting. There's going to be more shots, so let's be careful. Let's watch out. Can we find the shooter? And then when we only heard that first shot, we knew, okay, this was targeted specifically for Charlie. So now let's get people out of here. Let's clear the place. And still on our way walking to find my other son, who was on campus as well, we were just dumbfounded, shocked, in total disbelief of what had just happened.
About the time that the second student came up to the mic, we just moments after heard the shot. The shot came from the left side, and I looked over just like that, and I thought, wow, isn't that funny? Somebody lit off a firework. It's really what it sounded like somebody just lit a firework. And I went right back to look at Charlie, and that's where I saw the hole in his neck. And I immediately at that point grabbed my son and took him down. Much like her just said, I mean, we didn't know if there was going to be shots to follow or what. At that point, it was all a matter of how do we get out of here? What's the safest way? And obviously there was a lot of people trying to do the same. So,
do you replay that moment in time Have you replayed it in your mind?
In the most unexpected times, which is so odd, because I like to think that I'm pretty resilient. However, it does resurface in unexpected times that is played out.
I didn't know what to think. I actually kind of just went numb at the point. I didn't know what was going on. Just everybody started yelling and screaming. I was numb. I was very confused. Very, very confused. I didn't know what had happened. I had heard shots before, but it just didn't seem like this was the place that something like that would happen.
So there's a lot of cheering going on, and then this gunshot rings out. Then what do you remember about the next few moments?
I looked to my left, and like he said, like he thought it was a firework. My family just said we were waiting for like confetti to pop out until I look at Charlie and his face is like, it's just the life goes out of his eyes. I remember falling to the ground. I'm sorry. And I see my mom's face as she's like hyperventilating. And I see my older sister Jordan. And just her face in absolute shock. I remember a man jumped on top of my sister's yelling, "Stay down." And then when I looked back to where Charlie was, I see his body getting carried out, covered in blood. And you just feel absolute terror. Like, I just remember thinking, like, am I gonna die? Or are they gonna keep on shooting?
The cheers collapsed into chaos. Kurt is a combat veteran and former law enforcement officer.
Did you actually see Charlie when he was hit? Did you see it?
We did. We saw Charlie, and I'm a former police, former military, I'm a combat veteran, and I knew as soon as he got hit, he was dead. And when they said on the news that they were trying to help him, I was praying to God that they could come up with a miracle. God can do miracles, but when I saw him get hit, I knew he was gone. He was dead on impact.
One of Kurt's sons was on the other side of campus.
It was chaos. It was chaos. I was still processing. I called his wrong phone number like 18 times and he wasn't answering. So then I started freaking out. But we were able to connect. People were running everywhere, shouting.
As police locked down campus, Kurt and his two sons began helping others.
Mr. Rogers says try to find those who are helping in a disaster like this. So we tried to find people we could help, people who were crying, tried to console them, tried to get people to get rides, call their mom. And then once we were together, me and my sons, we called their mama and made sure we got off campus before everything was locked down.
All four witnesses left with images that still won't fade, and the process of healing has been messy and personal.
How have you been coping and getting through this?
The first couple weeks, couldn't sleep. It's up till 2 a.m. trying to correct people online who were saying stupid things about what was going on and what they saw and what they know about UVU. And I'm like, you don't understand. This is my school. This is my kid's school. So I thought that was my mission, just to correct every moron on the internet. It's too many. But like Christian said, the only path forward is healing and helping.
Christian started a Facebook support group for anyone who was there to join.
Tell me about the group and why you started it, and has that been helping you cope?
Absolutely, it has. I knew that my path to healing, even immediately after what I had witnessed, would be to attempt to help others, try to process and try to be there as a support. While I was trying to figure out how I was going to come to grips with dealing it on my own terms. And so from a therapy standpoint, I think that has helped me quite a lot.
How about your son? Tell me how old your son is. He was here as well on that day. How is he doing, and how are you helping him?
We haven't had a lot of discussion. I've given him his space. We've had him in therapy as well. He's going to have to, and he's obviously knows that I'm here for him when he's ready to talk, when that time becomes, apparent for him. But right now, it's a tough thing to deal with. Is it
fair to say that more than a month later, You're still kind of figuring out how you're going to
Absolutely.
deal with this.
Yeah, no question. No
And
question.
your son, too.
And him as well, yeah.
And has this event changed you and your family?
Without a doubt, absolutely. I was making the comment earlier, I like to think that I'm pretty resilient, but it seems that at some of the least expected times it will resurface and catch you by surprise. I
kind of buried it down. I'm still processing it. I've not ever got over it. It's probably something I will never get over. I think about the event every time I drive by UVU. I try not to look at the old pictures that I have on my phone of the videos of that day and stuff like that. And I went home and I just kind of buried it down. I never really talked about it to anybody except for Christian here and my wife, and that was it. I can't look at UVU anymore. It's hard to look at UVU as you're driving down because I witnessed something that was tragic. It's hard to think about it.
Carter, how have you been processing this traumatic thing that happened really in front of you all in person, but in front of the world too? Everyone saw the video. How have you been processing it?
It was hard the first 2 weeks. It was really hard. I still think about it to this day. Sometimes it's the first thing I think about in the morning, or like if there's a loud sound in like my classroom, that I don't do good with those. I've been processing it is just really hard because normal things that were normal to you aren't very normal anymore. Like sometimes I see like a UVU sign that I just think of the shooting, or I was talking to my mom about this, how we can't do fireworks because that just brings us back, and it was hard processing it.
Carter, still in high school, says finding purpose has been its own kind of therapy. She helped start a Turning Point USA chapter at her school.
It united us as students, as kids of the country, like what Charlie wanted us to do. We've had more people join the club, and we're just really excited because I see the patriotism and the passion in the people in the club.
You could be doing anything, what do you get out of being involved in this chapter for you personally?
I think it's therapeutic. I think it's a lot better than sitting on the couch and scrolling on TikTok, and it's just nice seeing good in the world. It's something that I need to see because what I saw was not good.
Processing the shooting has also meant reckoning with what justice should look like.
Do you think death penalty is justified if convicted? What's your take on this being a death penalty case here in Utah?
Yeah, I align with Charlie on the death penalty. The death penalty really is about valuing life. For those who don't value life enough to take someone else's life, there needs to be the consequence for that. So the death penalty, I think, is the right decision.
I used to work for Department of Corrections, so I worked death row, and I've seen these people, and I've seen people that have been sentenced to death. And what bugs me the most is that they get convicted and sentenced to a death penalty, and then there's years they sit. And most of them just, until last year, I believe, they just expire on, of natural causes before they see the penalty.
It's hard because it's harsh, but also you do need justice. I think it's okay for the death penalty because it not only was just killing Charlie, but it was an attack on the American people's rights and speech. And just to think that we were killed just about speaking on our opinion is a very dangerous and scary thing. So I think it's a good balance. Too much justice is bad, and too much mercy, we won't have justice. So we just need a good balance.
Even with everything they've seen, none of them want fear to win.
This isn't going to detour me because good will always outweigh evil in the world, and we can't live in fear.
When you think about that day, what emotion wins out for you now as you sit here today?
Hope for a better tomorrow, hope for a greater cause to prevail, for more love, for more coming together in unity.
I'm still reeling from the deep, deep loss, but choosing hope like Christian, it's the only way forward.
Has your feelings since that day changed? You know, sort of what emotion is winning out for you right now?
I wish I had more hope than fear right now. I definitely am living in fear, but I want to change that. I definitely want to take my next steps in faith. But seeing how people coming together to support and comfort us and other people definitely gives me hope.
I hope we could all heal from this and come together and for the greater good, for the United States to move forward. I just think we should all get behind one another and keep moving forward.
For someone that was not there that day, you were there that day. What do you think, what do you tell that person that wasn't there?
For somebody who was there, life is fragile. It's a meaningless assassination that happened, unfortunately. But we should still have those open debates. It doesn't matter if it's politics or about school or whatever, but have open debates. If you have a friend who's a liberal or a Republican or whatever, who cares? Have that open discussion with them. You know, see what their thoughts are. And if they don't agree with you, move on and go fishing. Who cares?
If you're being honest, did you feel that way before September 10th?
Oh, yes and no. I really don't care what's going on in the world right now, except in my little bubble. And my wife, my family and stuff, I don't care what's going on. But this has opened my eyes to there's a lot more going on than what I actually see. And so it's kind of opened my eyes to what's going on in the world right now. You know, unfortunately, we can't have that debate without, a threat of violence somewhere, coming from somewhere. And I'm kind of hoping that we can move on and heal from this and have that open discussion in front of people without the fear of violence of some sort.
To have courage to stand up for what's right and also learn how to speak to people who you may not agree with. I think we think in America that if I'm Republican, I can't be friends with a Democrat. I think we need to learn how to debate and talk to each other respectfully.
What do you tell all those people out there that weren't at that event, how it has impacted you or changed you in any way?
How much our world has changed and how we should pay more attention to what's happening instead of caring about stupid things.
That's hard to do though, isn't it? It's so easy to just kind of revert back to the mean and to maybe say the thing that we shouldn't say. How do we do that?
Getting off your phone, joining clubs. I'm starting to join clubs and I used to think that was weird, but no. I've deleted TikTok and I think it's the most stupidest app ever. Like, experience the world, real world, and talk to people face to face. And I want to talk to people more.
What do you say to someone that doesn't agree with your point of view on politics or the world? What do you say to that person today?
Charlie set a good example of asking questions, and I think a lot of times if you ask questions and help them find out for themselves what they believe or where there's a mismatch in their words and their actions, I think they can get to the bottom of it. So instead of criticizing or just demanding that you're right, asking good questions and getting more educated.
It shouldn't matter. We all are human. We all have our interests in life. We all strive for certain things and goals that are special to us as an individual. And why does that make him a little bit different? Because he sees the world a little bit different than me. You know, I think we should all just come together and move on.
What do you say to someone that doesn't agree with you today?
I've always believed that if you approach anyone or any discussion from a place from your heart, a place of love, that regardless of the message it gets through or whatever you're disagreeing or agreeing on, they know you care.
What do you tell someone that doesn't see things the way exactly you do?
Ask them genuine questions, just like why and like what made you believe that, and I hear them out instead of getting mad or just going crazy on them. I treat them like a normal human being. I treat them as my friend, and they're no different from me. We're all just trying to get through this life and stay strong. I have so many friends that have different beliefs than me in religion and politics, but I treat them exactly how I'd want to be treated.
For those who were there, September 10th will always be the day a debate turned into a crime scene and a reminder for them of how quickly conversation turned into violence. They all saw the exact same thing but are processing it very, very differently. As they walked away from this, the event changed them, but they also say they agree on one thing: they still believe in the power of conversation. I'm Jim Spiewak. Thank you for watching this YouTube original.